In man and in monkeys it has become a useless vestige, and the dwindling must be associated with the fact that the upper eyelid is much more mobile in man and monkeys than in the other mammals. The vestigial third eyelid in man is enough of itself to prove his relationship with the mammals, but it is only one example out of many. Some of these are discussed in the article dealing with the human body, but we may mention the vestigial muscles going to the ear trumpet, man's dwindling counterpart of the skin-twitching muscle, which we see a horse use when he jerks a fly off his flanks, and the short tail, which in the 7-weeks-old human embryo is actually longer than the leg. Without committing ourselves to a belief in the entire uselessness of the vermiform appendix, which grows out as a blind alley at the junction of the small intestine with the large, we are safe in saying that it is a dwindling structure, the remains of a blind gut which must have been capacious and useful in ancestral forms. In some mammals, like the rabbit, the blind gut is the bulkiest structure in the body, and bears the vermiform appendix at its far end. In man, the appendix alone is left, and it tells its tale. It is interesting to notice that it is usually longer in the orang than in man, and that it is very variable, as dwindling structures tend to be. One of the unpleasant expressions of this variability is the liability to go wrong, hence appendicitis. Now these vestigial structures are, as Darwin said, like the unsounded, that is, functionless letters in words, such as the O in leopard, the B in doubt, the G in rain. They are of no use, but they tell us something of the history of the words. So do man's vestigial structures reveal his pedigree. They must have an historical or evolutionary significance. No other interpretation is possible. Some men, oftener than women, show on the inturned margin of the ear trumpet or pinna a little conical projection of great interest. It is the vestige of the tip of the pointed ear of lower mammals, and it is well named Darwin's point. It was he who described it as a surviving symbol of the stirring times and dangerous days of man's animal youth. 2. Physiological proof of man's relationship with a simian stock. The everyday functions of the human body are practically the same as those of the anthropoid ape, and similar disorders are common to both. Monkeys may be infected with certain microbes to which man is peculiarly liable, such as the bacillus of tuberculosis. Darwin showed that various human gestures and facial expressions have their counterparts in monkeys. The sneering curl of the upper lip, which tends to expose the canine tooth, is a case in point, though it may be seen in other mammals besides monkeys, in dogs for instance, which are at some considerable distance from the simian branch to which man's ancestors belonged. When human blood is transfused into a dog or even a monkey, it behaves in a hostile way to the other blood, bringing about a destruction of the red blood corpuscles. But when it is transfused into a chimpanzee, there is an harmonious mingling of the two. This is a very literal demonstration of man's blood relationship with the higher apes. But there is a finer form of the same experiment. When the blood fluid or serum of a rabbit, which has had human blood injected into it, is mingled with human blood, it forms a cloudy precipitate.